Setting up compression when you have a very low recording can be a balancing act, but there's a digital sweet spot, and I'd like to show you my approach in setting up your compressor's sweet spot. Welcome back to the Home Audio Project, the place to help narrators and voiceover artists edit and master their audio and break into the business. I'm audiobook engineer Ryan May. If you have a fairly even recording, but the recording is low, the end goal is to bring up the volume to the required RMS and peak values based on who you're working with. Today, I want to show you how I take a very clean and even recording and set it up to level off those peaks, but not changing the gain after compression, to set it up for using a limiter to get the desired volume and RMS in a later stage. But first, even though we're talking about compression in this video, I want to give you my narration EQ guide to help bring out the presence and clarity in your voice before you get the volume up to the standard peak and RMS values. EQ is an essential tool to really make your narration shine. So grab the narration EQ guide by heading to thehomeaudioproject.com/EQ and sign up there to download it. All right, let's get started with compression to level out our vocal and get it to the digital sweet spot. So as we know, recording at low volumes is very common, and I would say probably 9 times out of 10 preferred. But setting up your compression gain can set up your stage for your limiter to reach the standard RMS and peak values in your finished product. Trying to set up your recording RMS values is extremely difficult. So going for a more important value of peaks while recording is going to be more ideal. As you can see in this recording, it's very even. Obviously, there are always some peaks and valleys that we have that are a little bit more in volume and a little less in volume, but the overall recording itself is very even. As a rule of thumb, for me, on a Mac, when I'm listening, I like to have my volume about halfway. And this is because I found a comfortable sweet spot for me while listening to any commercial production, whether that be podcasts or music or audiobooks. Because I know I'm going to use a limiter at the end of my processing chain, I like to make sure my compression, my EQ, my gating, and my de-essing, whatever plugins I'm using within my chain, to be a very comfortable listening level at that 50% volume, because I know I'm going to make up for it at the end, again, with the limiter. So when you're recording, trying to hit a peak value of anywhere between -12 and -6 is going to be preferred. So if I pull up the Pro Tools meter here, let's just see where this recording is playing.
We played everything in that gym: football, tag, and basketball. Some of my friends had tree forts in their backyards. Some people had jungle gyms. We had Bethel College's gymnasium.
So this recording is hitting exactly where I would prefer to have it record at, anywhere between -6 and -12. So the sweet spot it's usually hitting is around -10 or -8. So when we're using compression, what I like to do there is still have it hit within that same level on the meter, but shave off just a little bit of these peaks so I know that the entire recording is going to be even and nice and level before it gets into my limiter or any other processing I have after the compressor. Now, as I mentioned again, the digital sweet spot is -18 dB FS. So to make sure that this entire recording stays consistent, when I bring up my compressor, I'm only looking to shave off these little peaks here at the top. I'm going to keep this at a 4-to-1 ratio just because this is such an even recording that I don't need to completely demolish these peaks. I just want to shave them off and level it out. I'm going to start with a faster attack and a faster release just so the compressor can react to these peaks as they hit them extremely quick and shave them down as fast as possible. But the moment that it gets to a lower level around here versus this peak here, it'll also release it fast enough to where it will not affect these lower volumes. So in this plugin, on the meter itself, I am looking for the reduction to hit anywhere between -2 and -3 dB, and maybe sometimes up to -5, but I just don't want to over compress it. So I'm going to adjust my input knob until I see around -2, -3 in gain reduction.
Still down, only 2. With no timeouts left, we didn't have time to huddle up or draw a play. Luckily, we all knew what to do.
Great. So it didn't take that much. I just had to lower the input knob a little bit. But now I have a little trick. Because I have my volume at around 50%, I want to maintain that volume in my headphones. And this is how crucial listening skills are. What I'm going to do is play the audio while it's not bypassed. And then I'm going to bypass it and listen for the volume adjustment that this plugin is making. And then I'm going to make up for it. And you'll see in just a moment.
Seconds left. The official said it was our ball, still down, only 2. With no timeouts left.
So it being bypassed, the volume is just a little bit louder. So what I'm going to do while it's still bypassed is turn up my output knob just a little bit, and then I'm going to play it again and unbypass it. And I'm going to listen for my volume changing. And that's the exact opposite of what I actually want it to do. By adjusting the output knob up a little bit more and unbypassing it, I'm listening for my volume to not change, if that makes sense. And the reason why I don't want it to change is because now I know I'm shaving off just around -2 to -3 in gain reduction, which is shaving off these peaks, but then leveling out my volume so the volume doesn't change, so I know this will still stay a consistent recording, but with these peaks eliminated.
Voice at the end when we were tired and wanted to go home. Jamie took the ball from the referee. Ole Miss decided to guard the inbounds player, leaving Bryce with a single defender. Bill Jenkins, our 6'6" forward, who had been guarding Cisse all game, ran toward the top of our three-point arc. Now, for a college forward,
and as you can see here, now that we have a volume consistency that is not changing, even while we're shaving off those little bit of peaks here in the recording, our digital sweet spot of -18 or thereabouts in a decibels full scale is not changing. Compression is a powerful tool and very versatile. Music producers can use compression on drums to really slam down on the compressor and create a huge drum sound. But on the opposite side, like we did today, you can use compression to round out a narration track and glue everything together. But remember, EQ is another essential tool, and if used correctly, you can really make your narration shine. And that's why I created my free guide to help you get the presence and clarity out of your voice. So, as it goes into the compressor, you have a very solid foundation going into the rest of your mastering chain. So pick up my free guide now at thehomeaudioproject.com/EQ. Okay, right on. That's it for now. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in another episode real soon.